Hello and welcome back to another AP3 video. In today's video, we'll be going over SAT math questions, more specifically percentages. We're doing easy, medium, and hard questions today. The starting cost of a certain shirt is $20 before a 5% sales tax is added. What is the total cost including the tax to purchase the shirt? Okay, so we're looking for the total cost of the shirt including the tax. So we're adding the tax to the purchase. So what is the original price of the shirt? 20 bucks. And how much is sales tax? 5% sales tax is added. So it's 20 before sales tax. And once we add sales tax, that'll give the total amount. So I can write it as original price as 20 bucks. And then I can write sales tax as 5%. So what I have to do now is multiply 20 with the sales tax to get the total purchase. And I might be thinking, well, it says 5%. So do we just do 0.05? No. How tax works is that you're adding 5%. So for example, if I do 1 multiplied by 0.05% tax, I'm going to get 0.05. And that's 5% of 1. So it doesn't work like that. How tax works is that we're adding into it. So it'd be, if the shirt costs $1, we're going to multiply it by 1.05 to get the total value of 1.05 with taxes. So taxes is multiplying. So you multiply with 1 and then the percentage to get the sales. It's not the percent itself, like 5%. You want to add 1.05 instead of 0.05 to get the total cost. As we can see, because if I multiply 20 times 0.05, I'm going to get a value that is obviously less than 20. And as we can see with all the answer choices, all of them have 20, therefore we can't do that. So the total cost, I'm doing in green, can be found by multiplying 20 with 1.05 equals, so we'll get 20. And then what we want to do is now figure out what 20 multiplied by 0.05 equals. It's gonna be like 100, and we do the decimal points is equal 1. So 20 plus 1 equals 21, and our answer is C. Okay, let's do an easy percentage question. What percentage of 375? Well, all we have to do in these type of questions when we're looking for a percentage of a number, of another number. So if we're looking for a percentage of 75 in 300, we will want to divide 75 by 300 to get the percentage of 75 in 300, which would equal 0.25 if you plug it into a calculator. And that works for any other number. And then, for example, if I'm looking for the percentage of, let's say, 50 in 100, I just divide 50 divided by 100, which just equals 1/2. Or if we want to convert that into a decimal, 50%. So 50 in 100 is 50% of 100. Okay, so a different question. During a sale, the original prices of all the items in a clothing store have been reduced by 20%. What is the sale price of a jacket with an original price of 50? So the original price of the jacket is 50 as given. So original price is 50. And they're telling me that during the sale, the original prices of every item in the store reduces or decreases value by 20%. So in this question, all we have to do is multiply 50 times 0.8 in order to look for the value or the new sales price. But why not 0.20? Well, if 50, okay, if it reduces by 20%, and then the original price is 100% of that value, and it reduces by 20%, that means that the new percentage will be 80% of the original price. If it said it reduces by 80%, that means that the new price would be 20% of the original price. But because it reduces by 20, the new price will be 80% of the original price. So what you would want to do is multiply 50 multiplied by 0.8. Maybe if you plug that into a calculator, if you do it mentally, you are going to get 40, and therefore our answer is D. Okay, now we're going to do medium questions, and we're going to be using the Desmos calculator to find the solution to the equations. We know how to use the Desmos calculator in these type of questions. During the first month of sales, a company sold 1,300,000 units of a certain type of smartphone. During the same month, 15% of units were sold. If the sales and the return rate remained the same for each of the next 5 months, about how many units of this smartphone will be returned to the company during the 6-month period? Okay, let's go through all the information given. I'm given that in the first month of sales, they sold a total of 1,300,000 units of smartphones. They also tell me that in the same month, 15% of those sold were returned. And they told me that both the sale and the return rate remain the same each month for the next 5 months. And we're looking for how many of the smartphones were returned in the total of that 6 months duration. But why is it 6 months period and not 5? Well, they tell me here remain the same for each of the next 5 months. That means from the starting month and then 5 months after. Total 6 months in total. So now let's solve what we need to look for, the return rate. So I have 1,300,000 units of smartphones. So I'm just going to units. And of those units, 15% of them are returned. So what we want to do is multiply 1,300,000 times 15% to look for how many units were returned in 1 month. So if I were to plug in 1,300,000 times 0.15%, I'm gonna get 195,000 units. So in total, how many of them will be returned? 195,000 units are returned in a month. And they're asking me what is the return rate during all 6 months period. So what I want to do now is multiply the number that I got times 6 to look for the value of the total amount of smartphones that were returned in the 6-month period. So 195,000 times 6 gives me 1,170,000 units were returned in a 6-month duration. Therefore, my answer is C. Okay, we're gonna do another medium question, and this you can use a calculator to look for it as well. The number K is 36% greater than 50. If K is the product of 50 and R, what is the value of R? They told me that the number K is 36% greater than 50. How would you write that as an equation? Well, let's do an easier example. Oops, I'm doing that in highlighter. I keep doing that by accident. So for example, if I'm given different number, different variables, it is like a complete different question. If I'm given that X is 50% greater than 1, I'm going to write it as the original number, which is 1, plus what's multiplying 1, which is 50%, because you want to look for the number that is 50% greater than 1. And how we would do that, you write it as 1 plus 50 divided by 100, and then multiplied by the original number, which is 1, to look for the new value of X when X is 50% greater than 1. So if we do the multiplication, we're going to get 1 plus 1 plus 0.5, and my new answer will be 1.5. And as we can see, X is 50% greater than 1, and that is 1.5. So we're going to do the same thing for number K. So if 50 is, if K is 36% greater than 50, I'm going to write that as 50 plus 36 divided by 100 and multiply by 50. And that's going to give me the number of K. So if I plug that into a calculator, Oops. Let me fix that. If I plug it into a calculator, I am going to do 50 and then plus parentheses 36. Oops. 36 divided by 100. 100, let me close parentheses, and then multiplied by 50, I'm gonna get 68. Therefore, my new value or number k is 68 because 68 is 36% greater than 50, and we can see that as if I divide 68 divided by 50, I'm gonna get 31.36. Therefore, that 68 is 36% greater than 50. So now that we know that k is 68, I just plug that into the first equation. So I'm given that k is the product of 50. If k is the product of 50 and r, what is the value of r? So if k equals 68, which equals 50, and the product of 50 and r, we're just multiplying 50 times r to look for the value of r. So it's like an algebra equation now. I have 68 equals 50r. So now we just solve for r. So all I have to do is do 68 divided by 50, which we just did, which equals r. So r just equals 1.36. Therefore, my answer is C. I hope that's nothing was confusing. Just understand when it says greater than, we get the original number and then plus the percentage divided by 100 multiplied by the original number. In this case, it was 50, but in the blue example that I did, it was 1. Okay, let's solve a different question now. Again, these percentages, they're always formatted in very weird ways, and there's a lot of rules into it. So in order to solve it, we're gonna go over a different rule now. So a customer monthly water bill was $75.74. Due to a rate increase, her monthly bill is now $79.86. To the nearest tenth of a percent, by what percent did the amount of the customer's bill increase? So to find the customer's water bill increase, we want to look for the absolute value of the increase of the money divided by the original amount. In this case, 74.75, and then times 100 to look for the bill increase. So how would that look like? Well, if we're looking for the absolute increase of the bill, we would do 79.86 minus 75.74, and then we divide that by the original number of the bill, which was 75.74, and we multiply that by 100 to get the percentage. So let's plug that into Desmos. So, oops, keep messing that up. So if I do 79, oops. If I do 79.86 minus 75.74 and divided by 75.74 and then times 100, I'm going to get the percentage. If we round it up, we're going to get a percentage of roughly 5.439. So it rounds up to the nearest tenth place. We're going to get 5.4%, and which answer looks like that is D. And that's how to do a percentage, no, not percentage, how to look for the percent of the water bill's increase. Okay, follow my lead for this question. So these are hard questions now. A school district is forming a committee to discuss plans for construction of a new high school. Of those invited to join the committee, 15% are parents, 45% are teachers from the current high school, 25% are school and district administrators, and the remaining 6 are students. How many more teachers were invited to join the committee than school and district administrators? Okay, so obviously there's a committee as stated, and we're given that 15% is students, 15% of them are parent students, 45% are teachers from the current high school, 25% are school and district administrators, and then we do it in a different color. The remaining 6 are the students, and we're looking for the difference of teachers that were invited with minus the school and district administrators. So we're looking for how many more teachers were there than school and district administrators. Well, what can we do? What can we determine? Well, let's add up all the percentages that's given. 15, 45, and 25. So 15 plus 45, that equals what? 60. And 60 plus 25, that equals 85. So therefore, 85%, as we're given with the percentages, that's 85% of everybody in the committee. But we're given that the remaining 6 individuals are students. What does that mean? That the remaining 6 students are part of the committee. Therefore, the 6 remaining students are 15% of the committee. Because if you do 15 plus 85, that's 100%, meaning that we have the percentage of all the individuals that are invited into the committee. So we have 15% that are parent students, 45% that are teachers in the current high school, 25% that are administrators, and then 15% that are students, because 15% is what makes 100% to understand that it's everybody in the whole committee. So now that we know, I'm going to do this in green, that, actually I'm going to do it in red because I did it in red. Now that we know that 6 is 15% of committee, I want to look for now how many people in total were in the committee. So what can I do? What I can do 6 divided by 0.15 to look for the total number of people in the committee. So if I were to do 6 divided by 0.15, I get 40. Therefore, in total, there's 40 people in the committee, or people that are invited to the committee. So this is a total. I'm going to do this in pink. So this is a total. So now all I have to do is multiply 40 times 45% to look for the amount of teachers, and then minus 40 times 25% to see how many people are administrators, and I do teachers minus administrators to look for the number of teachers that are greater in the meeting than school and district. So I can write an equation as 40 multiplied by 0.45 minus 0.25 multiplied by 40, which will give me the amount of teachers that are more teachers that are in the meeting. So now let's plug that in. So parentheses 40 times 0.45, 45, minus parentheses 40 times 0.25, I'm gonna get 8. Therefore, 8 is our answer. So there's 8 more teachers than school and district administrators. So our answer is 8 in this question. Okay, now we're going to do a different hard question. The number W is 110% greater than the number Z. The number Z is 55% less than 50. So what's the value of W? So I'm given that the number W is 110% greater than the number Z. So I can rewrite that as W equals Z plus parentheses 110 divided by 100, which equals Z. Then I'm given, I'm gonna highlight this in red, that Z, or the number Z, is 55% less than 50. And we can actually calculate that. So Z equals 50. Because it's 55% less than 50, or 55% less than 50, I want to multiply 50 by 0.45 to look for the number of 50 that is 55% less than 50. So if I do 100 minus 55, I get 45%. Therefore, Z is 45% of 50. So if I were to multiply with Desmos, 50 times 0.45, Z equals 22.5. So Z equals 22.5, and I can plug that into my first equation to look for the value of W. So W just equals 22.5 plus the parentheses of 110 divided by 100, and then multiplied by 22.5, and that'll give me the answer of W. So 22.5 times no, plus, sorry, plus, and in parentheses, 110 divided by 100, then close parentheses, multiplied by 22.5. I'm going to get 47.25. Therefore, W, which was what we're looking for, W equals, let me look at it again to make sure, 47.25. That is our answer. Okay, let's do another hard question. A gift shop buys souvenirs at a whole price of $7 each and resells them at a retail price that is 290% of the whole price. It's $7, not 700. I didn't see the decimal point, I'm sorry. At the end of the season, any remaining souvenirs are marked at a discounted price that is 80% off the retail price. What is the discounted price of each remaining souvenir in dollars? Okay, so we're given a lot of information. There's a lot of retail, there's a lot of percentages, there's 2 percentages. So what are we looking for? What are they asking for? So I'm given that the original price or the wholesale price is $7. And then it resells at a retail price that is 290% of the wholesale price. So what can I do? Well, I can do 7 multiplied by 290%, which just equals 2.9 to get the resale price, the retail price. So if I do 7 times 2.9, I'm gonna get 20.3. So 20.3 is retail price. We're given at the end of the season, I'm gonna mark this in red, any remaining souvenirs are marked at a discounted price that is 80% off the retail price. So what does it mean by discounted price that is 80% off the retail price? Well, if it's discounted at a price that is 80% off, that just basically means that out of the retail price, the number decreases by 80%. Therefore, discounted price is going to be 20% off the retail price. So what I want to do is multiply, let me do it in red. I want to do 20.3 multiplied by 0.2, which equals the discounted price, because 80% of the value of the retail price is gone. So if I do 20.3 times 0.2, I get the answer of 4.06. So 4.06 is the discounted price of each remaining souvenir in dollars, and this is our answer. Okay, this is going to be the last question for today. It looks simple, but this question is a trap, and you'll see why. 200 is p% greater than 70. What is the value of p? Well, I'm given 210 and then 30. So is it just 700%? Because what is 700% divided by 100? That equals 7. And then 30 multiplied by 7 equals 210. So therefore, p equals 700. Wrong. Notice how it says greater, right? So it's what we've been doing in the previous questions. If it didn't say greater, it would be that 210 is 700% of 30. But because it's saying that 210 is p% greater than 30, we had to use that formula that we kind of created beforehand. So it would be 210 equals 30 plus a percentage, or p, divided by 100, which equals multiplying by 30. And then now all I have to do is solve for p, p. So if I subtract 30 on both sides, I'm going to get 180 equals p over 100 multiplied by 30. If I divide 30 on both sides, I'm going to get 60. Not even, I'm going to get 6 equals p divided by 100. And if I multiply 100 on both sides, I'm going to get p equals 600. And this is my answer, p equals 600. Because if I plug that into the equation, I'm going to get 210, which equals 30 plus 600 divided by 100 and multiplied by 30. And then 600 divided by 100 just equals 6. So we were just going to get 30 plus 6 times 30, which equals 180 plus 30, which equals 210. So therefore, my answer is 600. This is the last question for today. Thank you for watching.